Well, hey everybody, welcome to part 8. We actually have blue skies, hopefully for more than just a little while, because I have some things I need to do out there. That is our Aqua Regia from the end of our last video from our ceramic processors. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first filter on it in this big flask. Our mess is pretty much dried up now. I had to clean all that stuff off and pour water and baking soda on all of it because it, not a lot. I mean, there wasn't a lot. There was only like 600 mils in that beaker, and 200 of it was still in there at the end of that. So, I mean, not a bunch went everywhere, but I still had to clean it all up. So we know from now on, I haven't tried this guy yet. It looks pretty shot, so I may get a couple more uses out of that big burner. The little burner is absolutely shot, but I'm letting it thoroughly dry because I soaked it with baking soda water and water. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get this started. I don't have the camera stand out here, so I'm just going to, you've seen me filter before. We're basically just going to pour this in here and let it filter through gravity wise, so it's going to take some time. Alright guys, we'll get back at you when we got something to show you. Okay, we're just popping in to show you we've started our filtering process, the first one, and I hope I didn't speak too soon about the blue skies, because here comes the clouds starting to roll in, and if that happens I have to figure out a way to get all this in here and set fans on it again. I've got the back fans going. Although it's not as potent as it was when it was dissolving, it still has some fumes to it. So hopefully these will just blow over, and I can at least get this first main filter done. Alright guys, we'll check back in a bit. Well guys, once again, it seems our process is going to be interrupted by weather. I moved this in here. Like I said, the fumes are nothing like when it's dissolving. I've got 2 back fans going, so maybe we can at least get this filtered off today. If it starts raining hard again, I'm just going to call it a day. So anyway, I will keep you up to date on whether we're going in or staying out, so we'll be back. Okay guys, it's been a couple hours. We got sunshine again, but in 2 minutes it may be looking like it's going to storm again. So I'm going to just leave everything right where it is. I actually have my little burner set up over here again, but I'm not breaking the rules this time. I'm just going to be heating up water to rinse those guys. I've been coming out here periodically and just filling this funnel, and we're just probably a hair over or right at about halfway done. So I figured I might as well start on these guys, get them rinsed and ready to go. Then everything we have left is ready for Aqua Regia. This, when it gets filtered out, I'm actually going to warm it up a little bit and denox it with some sulfamic acid again, because it is a contaminated drop, so I want to get as much of the crap out of it in the beginning as I can. So anyhow, I will get back with you guys in a little while. Like I said, this is sitting over here, but it's not chemicals, it's just going to be water. Alright, we'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, this is where we are. We still got that little bit left. Then I've already rinsed these, shook them up pretty good. We're going to do that in another flask because we're probably going to have to reduce it. We should come up a little bit more than 2600 because I have used some rinse water in here periodically. So I'm looking, we'll probably get it all the way up to about right here before we quit. I'm actually right now doing the last rinse on, or not the last rinse, but I'm rinsing the VGAs, copper tops. These have been rinsed. I actually took and checked our pour off waters, and in my first jar there was some bond wires. In the second jar there was a couple. So I actually condensed that down, put that in with the first batch, and I actually took a gold pan and panned them out, not all the way down like I'm panning out for gold, but to see how many bond wires was in there. And there was very little. So I actually washed them into, it was the jar from this one, so I washed them into here. There may have been 20 or 30 bond wires in that first jar, which we were talking a minute amount of gold. I mean, you have to look at them with 60 power or more. So anyway, I'm going to finish this, get this rinsed off. Then I'm probably going to call it for the day. I'm getting a little tired. You guys haven't seen a lot today, but I've been doing a lot today. So that's ready for acid. That's actually ready for aqua regia, ready for aqua regia, ready for aqua regia as soon as I clean these boogers out that are in here. So I'm going to finish this up. I may do this today. I'm going to try to, just depends on how I feel. And then we are pretty much ready for aqua regia. We're getting this finished up right now, which already is aqua regia. Alright guys, I'm going to get back to work, so we will talk to you all in a bit. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you that we have started our aqua regia in these. I decided to just leave this here after I cleaned it out. I'll be able to stir it up and get it all to mix up. We're already getting a pretty good reaction in this one. This one has got a couple bubbles starting. So I'm going to put these up on the shelf and I'm going to leave them. I may leave them for a day or two. I don't know yet, just depends. So let me get these set up on the shelf, out of the way, and we're going to suck some gold out of them. So I'm hoping for 5 grams in this one, and I'm hoping for at least 2 in this one. I think that would be an accurate ratio. 5.5 would be perfect in this one. This one I'm not sure because I've never done a complete test on those. 5.5 would be absolutely perfect though on this one. So that's what I'm shooting for. I'll be happy with 5 because you never know. And like I said, this should yield, you know, a little less than half of what this one does. But we'll see. You don't know. We have no idea until the, you know, until the button is melted. That's just how it goes. All right, guys. I am actually going to go ahead and clean that stuff up over there, and then I'm going in for the day. I've been out here all day. I'm tired. We are just about done with this bad boy. I'm going to go ahead and get the other flask out, and I'm going to start doing this fluid, or this rinse water. Alright guys, so I guess I will stay it right now. I'll just see you all tomorrow. So everybody have a good evening, and we'll see you then. Okay guys, it is the next morning and it is absolutely beautiful out here. We got no clouds in the sky, bright sunshine, and some more filtering to do. We still got to do this probably a couple more times, although it's looking pretty clean. I'm just going to go ahead and get it in here and keep it going. Going to put a couple more drops of nitric in this stuff and check it. It actually looks like it's pretty good, but we're going to check it out anyway. You saw this from yesterday. That's our main aqua regia from our processors. I did get this finished up, so that was our remaining foils. So I'm going to get them rinsed, and that's a little bit that was in the rinse water, but I'm going to get them rinsed off, get them in the jar, and then that'll be ready to go. So we're in pretty good shape. We're probably fixing to load everything up and go completely into aqua regia and then do a bunch of gold drops. So I'm going to continue doing my filtering over here, and we'll be back at you. Okay guys, this is our BGA chips. They actually stirred up really easy. I stirred them up, and that tells me that they, you know, they aerated through, or not necessarily aerated, but that the, you know, the aqua regia got down into the powder, you know, and fluffed it up because it had, you know, NOx bubbles or air, whatever you want to call them, but it had bubbles in it. So that tells me that the aqua regia got all the way through. I am going to put a couple more drops of nitric in it just to check it and leave it sit for a while. because I want to make sure we get everything out of this. So I'm going to put about a pipette in here, and I'm going to put about a half a pipette in this one. And I'm just going to let them go for a little while and see if we get any reaction. If we get a reaction, we know we got more gold in there. So, and I am seeing maybe a little bit, so we're going to leave them go for a while. Alright guys, we're still filtering over here. We got a long way to go. We still got at least another filter full, and then we're going to have to put that on the heat and reduce it down. So I'm just going to continue doing this slow, boring stuff. We're probably looking at another 4 or 5 hours worth of filtering. So, because I'm just doing it all gravity. So we'll just check in with you periodically. Okay guys, this is our rinse water. I'm currently filtering that off to get the little bit of foils. I don't know if you can see them in there. I think you can. I can see them so through the viewfinder. But we're actually filtering that off in here in a 103 filter paper because I know there's some black gold in there. I actually got this cleaned up. The rest of the foils from the fingers, so they are right here. We're going to go ahead and put them in here. So that when this is filtered off, this last little bit over here that's got just a few little foils in it, this will be ready for aqua regia. So as soon as this is done over here, we'll get that filter paper in here and this will be ready to go. So I was just showing you where we are. We're not making very much progress with our big filtering because this plug is really getting stopped up now with all of the dust and stuff that's in it. But we'll just continue on and we'll get back to you when we've got something else to show you. And still drip by drip. We've got that funnel full and about another half to go. So I'm going to continue on. I'm actually going to go inside probably and have lunch because at the rate this is going, it's going to be supper time before it's done. And I'm not going to just sit out here and watch it drip a drip at a time. So we'll come out and keep adding to our stuff and filtering our stuff off, and then we're going to have some fun. I don't see too much more reaction going on with these guys, but I am still going to leave them overnight again just to be sure. If they stay tight, in other words, if this powder stays tight, then we know that we pretty much got everything out of it, because it will actually puff up or aerate because of the reaction. And it's not air, but you know, it's probably NOx. But anyway, so we're going to let them go one more day, then we're going to pour these off and get this filtered and rinsed and get it ready to drop. So I'm going to go in for a while, guys. We'll be back out here in a little bit. Okay, everybody, we are down to our last little bit of the finger foils, filtering that off. So that is almost done, probably another 10-15 minutes on that, and then we're going to pull that filter, and we're just going to drop that filter in this jar. Everything else is looking good. That is our VGA stuff settling out. It actually looks pretty rich because I don't believe there's any iron in there, so I'm hoping we yield like I was figuring. That would be great. We've got about, that's our last full funnel, or yeah, our last full funnel of the you know, the rinse water. So once that goes through, we should be about right. We're probably going to be about up where we need to be. So that's looking good because we're at 2,500 right now. So that's right around where we need to be. When that empties out, we might have to bring this down a hair, just a little bit. So anyway, I'm actually on the side getting my AP, my used up. Now this stuff is spent. I mean, it is spent. So I'm actually getting it ready to drop the copper out of it. So anyhow, that's where we're at. I am thinking that I'm probably going to go in for the day now. There's not really much more I can do out here. Just wait. So, alright guys, we will probably be out here tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Okay guys, well it has been a few days since I've been able to get out here. But I'm going to go ahead and start filtering off this. It's actually humid as fire out here. We just had enough rain to really make it nasty. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pour off what I can of this. Then we are going to set up the vacuum filter, and we're going to clean the rest of it. So this is our small copper top BGAs, or our copper top BGAs. I'm just going to do this as slow as I can because they've been setting, so as long as I don't shake it up, I'm not going to get a lot. It's not going to matter anyway though, because I'm going to have to do the rinse water and everything else. It's going to be filtered a couple times more than likely. So we are going to continue there. We're now starting to pour some crap off, so that's good enough. Let me get my water bottle. And I'm going to set this up here in safety so we don't knock it over. And now you can see what's in here. There's still a lot of fluid in there, but it's going to have all this stuff mixed up in it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set up the vacuum filter. We're going to pour this in there a little at a time and vacuum filter this so we can rinse it really well. Otherwise it's going to take 10,000 years to get all that solution out of here. So let me go ahead and get that set up and we'll be back. Okay guys, we are ready. Like I said, I'm just going to start by trying to pour as much of this stuff off as I can before we get too much junk in there, because then even with the vacuum filter it takes a while. So let me get this little bit in here started. And then we're just going to flush this and keep flushing it. Basically like this. Get that little bit in there. I don't want to drip anything out, but I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to pour that in. And we're going to have a big stack of our black looking sand. Wipe that over there in case there's any gold on it, and turn the vacuum on. I'm going to try and do as much of it as I can just by doing this before we pour the, you know, our black sand in here, as you want to call it, or I'm going to try and thoroughly rinse it first, and then we'll put the, actually it's just ground up silicon dyes. We'll put these in there and rinse them several times. Now this we may have to heat up and, you know, get rid of some of the fluid, because we're going to use a lot of water here to rinse this, just to get it back to normal. We'll see. We poured off, I'm looking at about, I think 50 milliliters. That was without being diluted. Actually about 75 milliliters, 75-80 milliliters that wasn't diluted. So this will probably be like 25% chloroauric acid and 25% water by the time we're, or 75% water by the time we're done. But you see how much yellow is still coming out of that? This is the chips are time consuming, but these chips are actually worth it because there is, you know, a decent amount of gold in them. Some chips, I mean, a lot of the longer, heavier legged EPROMs and stuff like that. There's some that are fantastic, but a lot of them just have a lot of copper in them. Got a little dauber flying around here trying to aggravate me. Okay, so you see basically what's going on here. So when I get this finished up, we'll come back. Okay guys, several minutes has gone by. We're almost getting this to rinse clear now. I don't know if you can see that, but we're just mainly getting just dirty water. But I'm going to continue to do it until it's completely clear, and then I'm actually going to put all that in here and rinse it some more. I may have to let this go through and pour this off. And right quick behind you, I'll show you, we've actually set this up on our another, like a thrift store find for a few bucks, and this booger gets pretty hot, so I'm hoping it's not the thermostat and it don't break. But we're actually putting these on here. I'm putting this on here, and I'm going to bring this down to about right there. So we've got quite a bit to take off of that. I was hoping I would not use as much rinse water as I did, but I did. So we're going to have probably at least down to 3,000. We're going to need to evaporate that down to before we mix it with this over here and do our drop. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to go ahead and continue doing this and getting this rinsed out, and we'll be back. Okay guys, we're continuing with our rinse. We're getting clearer, but this still has some color. This is what I've poured off already. That's actually a pretty good drop in color right there. But I'm going to put it back here on this warmer, and we're going to let them warm up and evaporate off some of that water so we can get a better idea of what we need to do. So those are going right now. I'm going to let this one go out. I'm going to rinse it again. I'll pour that off in a different beaker because I want to see it coming out clear in here. Okay guys, as you can see, we have all of our black sand in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this drain out dry. It looks to me like right in here, it looks to me like it's dripping clear, but that's a hard call to make with a little bit of color around. When you're doing your chips and you're filtering and you're doing this part, you just want to make really sure that you get it running down to clear water, and even after that, you know, let it run a little clear water for a while, because there's still going to be a little bit of gold that you're not going to be able to see. So let's just go ahead and continue on with that. When I get that poured off in our other beaker, I'll come back and we'll show you the see if it's running clear or not. And if it is, I'm still going to run a good, at least a good filter of clear water through it and add that to be evaporated off as well. So we'll get back to you then. I've got this on the stand, so I can't really, kind of hard to manipulate it real quick. Let me see if I can turn this loose, get it where I can get a look at it. Anyhow, that is, on the left is our regulars, on the right is our pour off from our copper tops. This one looks a little darker here on the left. It probably is a little richer, but I also got a little bit more of the cloudy solution in it too, so that's gonna, you know, when I poured it out of the thing here. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and continue doing what I'm doing. I'll let you guys see if this ran clear or not, and we'll be back. All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn this back on, and we are gonna go ahead and fill our Buckner or however you say it funnel once or twice, just to make sure we're running clear. looks clear so far, but we're going to let a little bit build up down there. And like I said, I'm going to do it a couple times anyway, just to be on the safe side. Okay guys, this one's almost done, and I'm satisfied that we have gotten our gold out of this ash, or ground up ceramic, or silicon dyes I mean. So because I'm satisfied, I'm going to do it one more time. That way we're sure. So all I'm going to do is just go around the edge like this. I'm going to fill this up again one more time, all the way to the top, and we're going to let that go through. And at that point I will stop, and I'll start doing the other guys. Let me get that good and full. We're going to let that one go through, and then we're going to start on this bad boy. So we will be back then. Okay guys, we have started on our regular BGAs, and I just want to show you why I'm up to the next size funnel, because we're going to have a lot more sand, whatever you want to call it, in here. But look at how dirty that is, you know, from just, you know, shaking it up in here and pouring it in. How cloudy and dirty. And look at how clean it comes out. That is the first pass on a 103 filter paper. Yeah, it takes longer, but I mean, look at the job it does from there to there. So to me, it's worth it. It's worth it to, you know, invest in some good filter papers. I believe, you know, I know some people can't afford things and some people can't do things, you know, just because of financial reasons. But I would rather jars be used and better filter papers than, you know, if you don't have the money to buy a beaker, use a mason jar and get a good filter. Because, you know, coffee filters work for some things. If you can get really good coffee filters, that's a different story. But that fine gold, when you get like into that black gold, you know, I've used 3-4 coffee filters, and in the fourth filter there's still a little bit of, you know, black powder. So to me, it is well worth the investment to go with a good quality filter paper. It just, you know, the money you're going to end up saving, or the gold or silver you're going to end up catching, is going to pay for them. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. So I'm not going to mess with you anymore until we get this cleaned up like we had the other one. I'm going to show you real quick. I opted for this flask instead of the beaker we were using because the bottom's a little wider, so we're going to get a little more heat. We're actually going to take this down to a little bit below 400, and we're going to take this one down to about 3,000. So we've got some evaporating to do. That right there I would be in love with for a regular drop. So I mean, the color is amazing. I'm really hoping I was wrong at my estimates and we actually get more. So anyhow, we'll be back when this is finished, and I'll do a little wrap up for the day. So we'll be back at you then. Okay guys, we are on our probably second to the last rinse from our big batch of BGA tips. Yeah, here we go. Our big batch of BGA chips, the ones without the copper tops. We're still getting some pretty good color there. So I'm actually going to let this go through a little bit more on this one, then I will let it drain completely out and run it, you know, pour this off and run it again to see if it's clear yet. Even if it is clear, which I expect it should be, I'm actually going to let it run one more time, just for safety's sake. Real quick, I wanted to show you that this was I've showed it to you before, but that was our fluid from our copper tops. This is our regular aqua regia, not our rinses, just the aqua regia I poured off. This is from our our copper tops. This was from our regulars. Now I want to show you something beautiful. That's rinse water. This is, I have done full-blown drops of out of Aqua Regia that didn't look as good as these rinse waters. So I'm really hoping that this is going to pan out more than I thought. I mean, from the looks of it, we should be for sure what I was expecting to get. This is actually from our ceramics. We need to bring it down to about 3,000 milliliters. This and this are that guy right there, and these two over here, this flask and this beaker, are from our little guy, or our copper tops. So I'm just going to leave these probably set out. Like I said, continue this till it runs clear. That fluid will go into this beaker, and then we're going to reduce all this down. Like I said, this is going to come down to about 3,000. This in total is going to be about 300 when it's reduced, and this probably will be about 400 or 500 in total when I reduce it. Then we'll get it loaded up and do our drops. Probably while we're waiting on that stuff to do or to work and drop and evaporate, we'll probably get started on these guys tomorrow. Go ahead and get them in Aqua Regia. So guys, I am pooped. We are running out of daylight, so I am going to have to go in and sit down. I believe we're getting a little long on this video, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. But the next one, our next video is going to be all about the gold. All right, guys, everybody take care, stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next video.